Hey, what's up, everybody? After a week off for July 4th festivities, the Sully Squad is back. Hopefully, everybody had a great 4th. Had some good barbecue. Went down the shore, whatever it is you did. Happy birthday, America! And hopefully, everybody had a great week. Um, kind of a I don't know. I don't want to say a lull in the sports, but I mean, what I think a lot of us, the Phillies are playing really good ball. You got the Sixers making Sixers kept B-ball Paul, so that's one thing, and they also got Mo Bamba.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us are waiting for Eagles training camp. So we're going to get into the Phillies and how they swept Tampa. They had that great road winning streak. So we're going to get into Phillies at the break, and we're going to get into some Sixers moves. I got my usual cast -1 because Diego the Hammer is away, but I got my man Sean Kilrain to my what's that? My left up here. How you doing, Sean?
Chilling, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty
Doing good.
doing pretty good. And then I got my man who always brings the energy on the bottom, Mike Fuji. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
15 days till training camp. Craig Kimbrell and Big Stick Nick representing Philly to the fullest out in Seattle. How the hell are you guys doing? How's all the peeps out there? Let's get the show started. Rocking Philly style anyway. Philly flair. Let's do it, baby. How the hell are you guys?
You know what? So I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired, to be honest with you. I went out. It was my boy Eric's 40th on Saturday, and between being out late Saturday night, having a few drinks, and then and then getting up early today, and getting back, you know how it is, man. You get older, and it takes you a little bit longer to recover. You know what I mean?
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought the energy, bro. But I got a comment here. I got Bubby Watts says, "What's up, Joey and everybody? How you guys doing?" And we're chilling, man. We're chilling. Thanks for checking us out.
What's up?
So I don't know. What do you
Doing good.
what do you
Thanks
what do
for
you
checking
guys
in.
yeah, what do you guys want to get into first here? How about if we get into some we got the baseball team just had a nice 13 game
Mhm.
road winning streak. Went down to Tampa, swept the best team in baseball. So I guess we're all got to be
Yeah.
kind of happy about that. But then kind of laid an egg the last two. What's your guys we're at the halfway point here. So what's your guys' thoughts on the Phillies and where they're at and where they might possibly go?
I still think they're gonna, they're definitely getting in this wild card. They're right in the thick of it. Trade deadline's 2 weeks away. 2 weeks, 3 weeks today. My fault.
Yeah.
But, what's this team need? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Dombrowski does 3 weeks from today. You beat Tampa, as you said, Joe. The best team in baseball, but it just seems like the Marlins just give this team trouble. I don't know why. And for the last 30 years since the Marlins came in their inception in '93, it's just this team just for some reason owns the Phillies. And let's not take it away from the Marlins. I mean, they got some players down there. They know how to draft well. They got a great farm system like Tampa Bay, but they just know how to bring up talent. It just always gives the Phillies and us Philly fan fits for many years.
Yeah, and you were talking
Right.
you were talking about what we possibly need, and I'll tell you, what they need number one is I think Schwarber not to play left field anymore. I mean, my man makes Greg Luzinski for any old heads out there. My man makes Greg Luzinski look like a freaking Gold Glove winner out there. I mean, he runs like he's got a piano stuck to his ass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Schwarber's got to get out of left. I wouldn't mind seeing. I'll tell you a former Philly. I wouldn't mind bringing back. I wouldn't mind bringing McCutcheon back. Pittsburgh's kind of going into a tailspin out there in the Central. And if you could get a McCutchen in here, right-handed bat, veteran, after the break, I mean, did you guys see that it looks like Harper might play some first base? So,
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry, Mike.
Just being down the park, the last couple Sundays, they usually don't take BP during the on Sundays, and I saw Harper out there fielding grounders. Last couple Sunday home games.
Okay.
So, I mean, be interesting to see Harper playing first. He originally was a catcher, I believe, in his young days, but why not?
Yeah, exactly. What do you
He's
think,
that type
Sean?
of player you can put him anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. Put him where needed, man. He has that bat. He's a proven veteran. He's proved everybody wrong. Like, to come back, how long? 3 months earlier from Tommy John. It's like amazing.
Just around this time. They projecting them to come back.
I know he's a player. He's a pitcher. It takes longer, but same situation, same scenario, injury. But yeah, he to me is playing pretty good ball. I'm not on him like all these other people. He should be hitting home runs. He's doing what needs to be done. Everybody has good games and bad games, like JT right about now, But other than that, like we all brought up earlier, address the outfielders. Like I said to you earlier, Cody Bellinger I really like, or Teoscar Hernandez from Seattle. Whatever's going to help the team, because like you said, Joe, Kyle Schwarber's a liability and left.
Yeah. Dave Arnold with a comment here. He says,
What's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave. He says Gene Segura had a nice series against his former team. He goes, do you guys miss him? I mean, do I miss him?
No.
Nah, not necessarily, because, I mean, Bryson, Turner's been playing a little better. Here's a comment here.
Yeah.
Danny on Wheels says Segura is a good player. Now, I agree. Segura is a good player, but the bottom line is, you paid a lot of money to Trey Turner. He struggled a lot in the early part of the season, but he's starting to come on a little bit. And I'll tell you, Bryson Stott is having a hell of a year. I mean, he's borderline all-star. I mean,
why isn't he an all-star? That's a good question. The guy's hitting over 300. You drop him in the lineup 60, you could put him wherever. Still should be leading off per se, but I mean, this kid could be a phenomenal player in the making.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could possibly be a future batting champion.
Say that again, Sean?
Absolutely. Who votes for the All-Star? The fans. Like,
the fans.
Some of these fans just go for the star-studded, your Judge, your Trout. Where are they at? Give these
popularity
guys
contest
a chance
that
are showing. Yeah, absolutely. Hit it right
always
on the head.
been, always will be.
Yeah. Now, in all fairness, though, even though Stotts had a really good year, you got the kid in Miami that's almost hitting 400, Arias or whatever. I mean, he's an all-star.
Luis Areza. Yep.
Yeah, he's one of the all-stars. And then you got Albies as another all-star. So it's kind of, while Stott is having a hell of a year, I mean, those, you'd have to take those two guys over him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still think Stott could have made it as a reserve.
No, listen. I agree. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Miko Spencer with a comment here. He says Pittsburgh's going young. Just drafted the nasty pitcher from LSU, Skeens, #1. Might let McCutcheons walk now. That's the move I want, Miko. I want him. I think he'd fit in well here, coming back to Philly.
Well, speaking of, just to piggyback on what you said, I did hear some type of rumor that McCutcheon could be available. Be a nice, defensive presence out there.
Absolutely.
He's 20 home run hitter.
Yeah,
20
and
plus, whatever. Decent bat.
Fan favorite, you know.
we got
No
comment.
doubt.
Comment here. Eileen C says the fans had mostly Jays and Braves starting until the Rangers fans took over. Danny on Wheels here says 8 Braves took everyone's spot. Well, hey, let's keep it real though, man. I mean, the Braves are probably the best team in baseball right now. I mean, you look at that run the
Yes,
Phillies
they
just
are,
went
man.
on. I mean, you look at that run the Phillies just went on, and I think there was one stretch in 10 games the Phillies were 8-2, and they actually lost a game to Atlanta because Atlanta went 9-1. So
Right.
I mean, you're going 8-2 and you're losing ground. That just goes to show you that
Just can't seem to gain any ground on the land. Period.
yeah. Hey, to answer your guys' question, Eileen C says she says she thinks when it becomes replacement players in the All-Star game, it's voted on by players. That's why Lindor didn't make it as a replacement.
He hit that right on the head. A buddy of mine and works at the same exact thing. Couldn't agree more.
But Bubby Watts says Eileen and I have a little baseball rivalry. Okay, that's funny.
Okay.
But no, you know what? And speaking of baseball, any old school baseball fan. I mean, I'm gonna talk about this later. But since we're talking baseball, tomorrow night at 6:00, make sure you tune in. I know I told you guys earlier. We're bringing back the old school, and we are going to do the 1980s era New York Mets. Basically from the outhouse to the penthouse. So basically, when the 80s started, the Mets were trash. I mean, they were winning like 65 games, 68 games. Well, they drafted Strawberry in 80, they drafted Gooden in 82, and then their GM, by a guy by the name of Frank Cashin, did a great job in putting that team together. And by 86, they were in the penthouse. So we're going to do from the outhouse to the penthouse, and we're also going to break down, how as talented as that team was, because that team might have been the most talented team in baseball over a 5-year stretch, and they had that magical 86, but they only won one World Series, and I know you guys saw a lot of. There's been a lot of stories and books out there about their legendary partying and stuff like that, and so we're going to go into some of the reasons why they didn't win more. So, any old school baseball fans out there, make sure you check us out tomorrow night.
Oh,
But,
Doc Gooden ended up beating Juan Samuel out for Rookie of the Year. Juan Samuel had a hell of a year for the Phillies. I forget how many steals he had.
But Bubby Watts says, 1986, 1986, awful. Hey man, I agree. We're Phillies fans, bro. I mean, we're Phillies fans. So I mean, I say that as a guy that's not a Mets fan, but it's an interesting story, and as much as I'm a Phils fan, I give that team a lot of credit. They had a lot of grit and a lot of heart. I mean, they didn't just win because Buckner dropped the ball. I mean, it took a lot for them. Oh, here we go. Red Sox fan, by the way. Okay, I was
I knew it.
I was a little kid, so I was a little kid. Sean, you watched that series too, didn't you? Or were you too little?
Yeah, I did.
All
right, 14. So that was the first year. That was the first year I watched sports. I was 8 years old, so I was only a little kid. Now let's keep it real. I'm a little kid, so it's not like it's not like I'm watching every game or every pitch like intently. I'm busy playing with my friends. But I remember being a little boy watching that World Series, and I was rooting hard for the Red Sox because I'm a Phillies fan. You know what I mean? So when the Red Sox blew that, I was pissed. I mean, not like Bubby Watts, obviously, but I wasn't exactly thrilled that the Mets won either. So
I remember Mookie Wilson just little dribbler down first, right through Buckner's legs, and Ray Knight just coming around scoring.
Yeah, that was one of the best calls ever. The great late Vin Scully made that call. He said behind the bag to Buckner, and it goes through his legs. Wait, I think it was like it goes through his legs, and yeah, and like
Joe
here comes running the
Garagiola.
Metsman.
Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola on the mics.
Yeah, that was classic though. I mean, baseball was great back then. You know what I mean? It's like some of those calls, like that call. How about Jack Buck, the old Jack Buck with the Kirk Gibson call a couple years later when Gibson went deep on Eckersley?
Yes.
Coming around, he can hardly run. They said Tommy Lasorda went down to the hitting cages. And, Gibson, was like basically just hobbling on the one leg when the guy couldn't even walk up the steps, to barely even come out the pinch hit.
Yeah, true.
One of the greatest moments in World Series history.
Yeah,
right off Dennis Eckersley.
I know. I wonder if Eckersley, if somebody would ask Eckersley like if he regretted throwing a breaking ball there, because I don't think Gibson was so hurt. I don't think he could have caught up to a high fastball.
Well, speaking of both teams, Eckersley and Buckner were traded for each other.
Yeah, that's an interesting nugget. Yeah, you're right, because Eckersley was a Red Sox at first.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a starter? I think he was a starter.
He was originally a starter when he came in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And they converted him to a closer.
Wow. Yes. Okay.
Talk about one of the greatest closers of all time.
Yeah. Here's Dave Yarnell with the comment. He says, "Hey Fuji, gotta love Dr. K. He was a really good pitcher. Yeah, he had a great few years there, and then we got Bubby Watts says, "Thankfully, I wasn't born yet." So he missed the Buckner. Here's Mike Laura. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Sup, Mike? Thanks for checking us out, bro.
Thanks. Well, you got to remember too. Doc went off the rail. He got caught up in that issue, and then he revived his career with the Yankees. And he won the World Series in '96.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny in doing research for the show, I didn't realize this. Dwight Gooden didn't make the parade. He was too FU'd. Dwight Gooden actually missed the '86 parade. I didn't know that because obviously I was a kid, but
Strawberry was on that Yankees team too in '96.
Yeah, but they were some great players. But anyway, you know what? Let's get back. Hey, we're hoping our Philadelphia Phillies can be the champions in the end here. So, what do you? We were touching on this a little bit. Biggest need at the deadline. I say outfielder, particularly possibly, in my opinion, a right-handed bat because with the loss of Rhys Hoskins, I mean they are really missing a right-handed power bat. So I feel like McCutchen would be ideal. How about, did you guys see Christopher Sanchez has kind of solidified that fifth position? I mean, do you still think they possibly could go for a fifth starter, or do you think they're all right in the starting rotation?
It wouldn't hurt, but
I think there's one.
I mean, I think Sanchez. I liked Sanchez last year. I liked him better than Bailey Falter, honestly. Not to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
There was something about him last year. I know Falter basically took the reins and ran with it, but Sanchez just has something there about him. He's looked good in 4 or 5 starts already, for the most part.
Yeah, well, Bailey Falter was pretty good, pretty decent last year. And this year, his name is totally on point because he's been faltering a lot. I mean, thank God, they had to send him down. Here's another thing of Phillies news too. I mean, did you guys see the reports on Andrew Painter that Andrew Painter was throwing, and I'll tell you, apparently he has some discomfort in his elbow, and that's very concerning because to me that just reeks of eventual Tommy John surgery. And I think Rob Thompson said the other night that they don't think it's as bad as it seemed at first, but I don't know, man. When a young kid has elbow issues, I feel like you're sometimes prolonging the inevitable. You know what I mean?
Oh, second setback since spring training. I mean, that's the first one's already a red flag, and now, you basically got to shut him down and really see what he has next season, and hopefully nothing will be, messing his career up. Being 19 years old, coming out of the gate, projecting. He was projected to be the fifth starter, but 2 setbacks since 4 or 5 months isn't good.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, I was hoping that with him being shut down for a lot of this year, I was hoping that he could have been the kind of guy like. Do you guys remember when we beat Tampa in 2008? David Price came up late in the year,
Right.
and he gave them a shot in the arm. In fact, I know Bubby Watts would probably remember this well since he's a Red Sox fan, but. David Price came in there, and I think he had a big outing in Game 7 against when Tampa beat Boston. I think he played a big role in them beating the Red Sox. We were talking about great calls. I agree with this guy Bubby Watts here. He says my favorite call was during the 2004 ALCS after the Ortiz walk off. Hit Damon running to the plate, and he can keep running to New York. Not even a big Joe Buck fan either. Yeah, I'll tell you that was a great series. And did you guys that's one of the best 30 for 30s I've ever seen. Did you guys ever see that 30 for 30?
Yeah.
The 4 days
bits and pieces of it. I mean, that was a phenomenal series. Boston being down 3-0, and then the whole thing with. I think it was Posada and Pedro Martinez and Don
Jason
Zimmer
Varitek
charging.
Pedro,
Pedro throwing Don Zimmer down, and just how that whole series just shifted, and Ortiz basically put that team on his back and just carried them.
Well, here's a funny story, right? So game 4 was a Sunday night, and my buddy Chris Bouget, he's from Bristol, Connecticut. And he was living in Philly for a few years. Well, huge Red Sox fan, right? So him and I are at the Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard on a Sunday night, and he's got his Red Sox gear on. I was pulling for the Red Sox at the time too, for him. You know what I mean? I actually had a Red Sox T-shirt on myself, and there's couple Yankees fans there, and we're BSing back and forth, and Chris is literally saying, and I'm saying the same thing. Chris is like, dude, I just don't want to get swept. He's like, never in a million years thinking that the Red Sox were going to come back and win that series. You know what I'm saying? So then we were at Chickies when Dave Roberts stole the base. You know what I mean? Right. And the game lasted forever, so I saw the end of the game actually at my house. I saw Ortiz hit at home, but who would have thought it? And it's one of those amazing things about sports. And in the special, here we go. The 4 days in October was amazing. Kevin Millar was on there, mic'd up, and he was sitting there saying, "Hey, don't let us win tonight. Don't let us win tonight." And it really was true, because they got one win, and the next thing you know, I think literally it was the next day.
Extra innings.
Yeah. Well, both games were extra innings, but that Monday game, I remember I got home from work. Dude, I think that Joan was like a 6-hour game, bro.
Yeah.
I think it started like 3 o'clock. It started like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. And I think it was like 9:30 at night, I think, or something like that. Ortiz got that hit. And it was just, it was just unbelievable. I mean, it says first game, Dave Roberts changed everything. I know this is torture. And Eileen C. 2004 was, well, Eileen, you could thank our buddy John Lieb. I know I think I've said this story multiple times, but our buddy John Lieb, I'll bring it up again just because we're talking about it. He's the ultimate mush, and he changed the course of baseball history, because he had money on the Yankees when they were up 3-0. So only him. He's the greatest mush of all time. Eileen, you probably want to find him, tar and feather him, because he literally changed the course of baseball and the curse of the Bambino, because he had money on a team that was up 3-0 and they blew it.
not to shift gears on you. What were you wearing a Red Sox t-shirt? Isn't that a violation in this town?
Well, this was 2004, and Chris was a good. If you, it probably.
Don't agree with me.
Don't
agree with me. Seriously, that's a
What's
violation.
That?
That's like wearing a Patriots jersey.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, Chris was a good buddy.
You wear a Patriots jersey,
and I didn't care. What's that?
You probably got that tucked back in your closet.
I'm beating your ass.
No, to be honest with you, I got rid of that, John, because I told you I got a partial Yankees plan now. So I'm not a Red Sox fan at all no more.
Oh,
you know me, dude.
You sound like you were stuttering, like you might have had it stashed somewhere in the back of your closet, or maybe in a drawer somewhere, collecting dust.
I'm 4 for 4. I got rid of that, John, man. I'm 4 for 4. I'm 4 for 4 diehard. I'm 4 for 4 diehard Philly. You guys know that. But then if I got a chance to make a few bucks on something, I ain't gonna pass it up. You know what I mean?
I don't want to get into I don't want to get into any type of bandwagon on anywhere.
Here's
I don't want to call any certain people out of teams and other places, but I'll leave it at
that. Here's our man Diego Bianchi. He's happy anniversary to Diego.
6.
I know he's away with his girl. Spit that talk. What's up, Diego? How you doing, bro? We'll see you next week.
Hope you're having a good vacation.
Bubby Watts says, don't forget the Yankees killed the Red Sox in Game 3, 19-8 in Fenway. So the fact they came back is even more amazing. Yeah, I remember that too. That was we all.
Then they tied up at 3-3.
What's that?
Yeah.
Then the Red Sox tie it up 3-3 in Game 6 in 2004.
Oh yeah, well game six was the bloody sock game.
Right.
Yeah, now that we're doing all this bullshitting about the Red Sox Yankees, I think I'm gonna have to do an old school. I'm gonna have to one of the episodes of the old school. We're gonna have to do maybe that series, or we'll do like Red Sox Yankees rivalry or something.
You get a Red Sox fan and a Yankees fan and just duke it out.
Yeah,
I know, right? Well, we may have to do that. I think that'd be fun.
Sounds good.
Dave Arnold.
I know. I watch the extra innings.
Hey, I like anybody that could possibly make me some money.
Beat us in '83. Swept us in 4 games.
Yeah, I would have hated
Game 1 in the '83 series.
My bad for cheating.
I love talking old school sports. We can sit here 6 hours and do it.
Yeah,
put a pot of coffee.
Change it up all day. We're not one of those guys that don't like talking about it. We talk about everything. Other teams, other sports, spit it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? The way I look at it,
bandwagon teams.
Hey, the way I look at it, dude, is like, the out of the box is out of the box. You know what I'm saying? I like talking all sports, whether it's Philly, it could be anywhere. Philly, Boston, New York, whatever. You know what I mean? In fact, this is totally off topic, but I wanted to rap about this a little bit later. Did you see the kid in? Did any of you guys catch the summer league with the kid from what the hell is his name? Webanyama from the Spurs.
Webby shut him down.
Well, no. Last night he had like 27 points. I'll tell you that kid. Now that we're talking like old school or other sports, it got me to thinking, like, that kid's got so much skill, man. I mean, he's like, what, 7'4", he can handle the ball, he could shoot. Well, it got me thinking, I mentioned this to Sean, he's so skinny. How do you think he would do if he had to play back in like the 90s with that physical style? Do you think, I mean, because he is a little light in the ass, you know what I mean?
Charles Barkley would eat him up. Oakley, Rodman.
Lambeer.
I mean, I can go on and on. Lambeer. They're going to give him a crash course of this is how the NBA is. But as we all know, today's NBA, it's all about.
Well, they don't play that physical style anymore.
Yeah,
which is a joke.
Exactly, and that's why all three of us are old school. The new school, it's all about shooting that three and having that pretty little dribble.
So, ESPN highlights.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Bubby Watts says he got a double last night, I think. So
I heard today that they shut him down though in the summer.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I said that to Joey before we hopped on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean they're shutting him down? I thought you were talking about Friday night. Yeah. No,
just to so he don't get hurt.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. I mean, they don't want to risk the kid getting hurt. I mean, last night he had like Bobby Watts said, you know what I mean? Last night I think he had like 27 and 12, and we were you guys see now you guys are saying that the old school guys would manhandle him because of how skinny he is. Surprisingly, I'm actually going to disagree with you. I think the kid is so talented that he would find a way to he'd be successful back then.
What do you think he does against Shaq? Put it that way.
Shaq gets 50 on him, but all right, Shaq gets 50 on him, but then Shaq would have to cover him. How's Shaq going to cover him out in the 3-point line? So that might be one of those where Shaq gets 50. Girl. Although, yeah, but see, you know what though? He wouldn't be able to cover Shaq though. So that would probably
no, exactly. Now, what team are we talking? If we're going to do that, are we having Horry or is it with Kobe? You know what I mean? Like that team, Horry, Kobe,
San Antonio. Lakers.
No. Lakers. Now you got me thinking.
Thinking Horry with the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't want to get off topic. We could get back into that.
Yeah,
Let's
true.
You know what? But all right, so one more thing about the Phillies then real quick. Since we're at the All-Star break, and then we'll get into some Sixers here. Since we're at the All-Star break, let's just make the prediction right now. Playoffs. Are the Phillies making the playoffs? Sean, I'll start with you.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Fuge?
Absolutely.
We making the playoffs, bro?
As the Rock always said, guaranteed.
Okay.
They are.
All
They're
right.
in.
All right. I thought so. Okay. And then coming out of the break, we got San Diego coming in for a 4-game series. So by the time we do this show next week,
7-game homestand.
All right. So by the time we're on next week, I think they have. I guess they're playing. I don't remember if they start Thursday or Friday.
Friday,
okay.
fireworks.
Friday.
Saturday, day-night doubleheader. Sunday,
okay.
1:35.
All right. So in those 4 games, what are the Phillies doing? Are they splitting? Are they going 3-1? How the Phillies doing?
I say they split.
Split. Okay. I agree. That's what I think. San Diego has been struggling all year. Me and Dave Yorn will do that extra inning show, and every week I'm like, all right, when are the Padres? Boy, the Padres them and the Cardinals are like the 2 most disappointing teams in baseball. So every week, every time we do that show, I'm like, damn, dude, the Padres still suck. Now they're starting to play. It figures they're starting to play better, and the Phillies got to play them.
Well, I think the Padres want to come in with a little retribution after losing the NLCS last year. Sure, it'll be juiced.
True.
Sean, what do you think we do in the 4?
I said split. I'm with you.
Okay. And by the way, we were talking about great Super Bowls. Shout out to Scott Fransky, dude. The Bedlam in the bank call was like badass last year. That joint was bang.
Well, they copyrighted the Phillies.
Yeah, hey man, I don't blame them, dude. That call was unreal.
Because if you go to like one of the concession stands at matter of fact, I got it here somewhere. They have a koozie that says "Bedlam at the Bank." I think for like $10 more, you get.
Oh, nice.
It's like one of those large koozies.
You know what?
Okay.
Next time I go to a game, I think I'm gonna have to get one of them Johns.
Oh, let me know. I can pick one up for you since I'm down.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I want one of them, dude. They're banging. I'll take one of them. So, all right. Well, that's about, with there being the All-Star break, that's about all the baseball I can handle right now. So let's we're gonna get into some Sixers, but before we do, I want to bring up a few things here. Got some sponsors. First off, Mike, why don't you take this one away, bro? We got a new show coming up.
Yeah, I was supposed to start the show this past Saturday, but DJ Too Tough had something, had an emergency occur. Hopefully everything's good there. Rescheduled it for this Wednesday. DJ Too Tough of famous Philly rap group Tough Crew. Tough. He's been around like 40 years in the game. 50 years of hip hop this year. The show's really is Philly themed. Pretty much. I already have a couple guests lined up for the next couple weeks. It's pretty much can be anybody famous from back in the day, or actually what I'm trying to do is if somebody knows somebody like trying to promote something like, restaurant, a story, I'm putting it out there so anybody can hit me up. It could be something about community too. Charitable event, anything from A to Z. So could be entertainment, could be sports. I'm just trying to, spice things up, all positive for, the area. It could be South Jersey, Delaware. So if anybody watching, watches the replay, feel free to direct message me if you know somebody that's, like I said, a charitable event or wants to put something out there community-wise, let me know.
Cool. Okay. Then we got any coffee drinkers out there. Make sure you check out Monkey's Colt Coffee. You could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycoltcoffee.com at the checkout. The owner, Matt, donates 10% of each sale to the National Pediatric Foundation at nationalpcf.org. So not only do they have great coffee, but they're great guys too. So make sure you check them out. Anybody that has some legal trouble out there, call my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. Slip and fall, workers' comp, personal injury claims. You call Jason directly 24/7 at 267-962-4895, or you could call Miko Spencer at 267-303-7324 for a free consultation. They got 3 office locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, so you can check them out. Here's all the shows at Out of the Box Sports. As you can see, there's something for everybody, and it's not my new show isn't up there. We're not doing extra innings tomorrow, but we're doing the old school like I touched on before. Not sure exactly what night we're going to do it going forward, but tomorrow night we're doing it. Tomorrow night. Here's good cause right here. Our man Ken Fry, he's going to be doing the show with me tomorrow night. Check out this right here. It's Original Janes were formed in the summer of 2019. The home base is in Cressona, Pennsylvania. So they're looking for some donations and sponsors to help cover their travel and equipment for the upcoming year. So make sure you help those kids out. What else do I got here? Here we go. And I got another show that just started here. Any wrestling fans out there, new podcast that started on Friday nights, the Atomic Drop podcast. So make sure you check that out. And, if you don't, you're going to get an atomic wedgie. All right. And if you get atomic wedgie, call Jason Fine. Right. No, I'm just playing. And I got one right here too. Mike, you want to take this one away, bro?
Philly Sports Trips, the best in the business. Vince Rizzuto. I believe they already got 5 trips for not only the Washington trip, but the Jets trip as well up to the Meadowlands a couple weeks before that. You go on every Eagles trip, Vince will take care of you. Been on a couple trips the last year, Vince took care of me. You can't Vince is the best in the business. Go to Philly Sports Trips for all your Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, and Phillies needs. Check out Philly Sports Trips.
That's right, and we're going to that Washington, John. I can't wait. That's going to be a great day. And you know what? I forgot.
Oh yeah,
I forgot I had this up here. Check this, John. Now there's the old school show. So hop in the DeLorean, baby. We're going back to the future.
Back to the future.
Right? Yeah.
Who's Doc Brown?
What's that?
Who's Dr. Brown? Christopher Lloyd.
I know, right? I know my man, the Red Sox fan, he might be holding his nose if he watches tomorrow night.
What was it, 4.20? What was it, 4.21 gigawatts?
Get the flux capacitor.
From Back to the Future.
I know, right?
Get the flux capacitor, Marty.
You know what? Before we move on, let me just get to one question here. Scott, I'll answer Scott Shelton. Well, you guys can answer too, but Scott Shelton says, "Would you bring back McCutchen if you're the Phillies?" Scott, I would in a second, bro. I think he's
absolutely.
I think he's exactly what we need.
Nice bat,
fan favorite. You know, bring him.
Yeah.
Anything's better than Schwarber and left.
Exactly. All right, so like we were saying earlier, we're still a few weeks away from NFL training camp, which we're all really looking forward to. We got the Sixers making. I mean, I don't know. Were they really making? I mean, they re-signed B-Ball Paul. I was a little surprised.
You had to do that.
What's that?
I mean, you had to bring B-Ball Paul back. I can't get it out right.
I know, yeah. Say that 5 times fast, But no, I see. You know what's funny? I kind of thought they had to do it too because I feel like I'm anxious to see if the kid can play the 4 a little bit.
Why not?
But I didn't think they were signing him because when they went out and they got Montrezl Harrell and they got Mo Bamba. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I thought the writing was on the wall. I was like, oh, they're going to let him walk, and then. Last night, I guess around like 10 something, Daryl Morey sent out that tweet. It looked like he was like a Navy SEAL or something, like going through the water, and and then they re-signed him. So,
well, Woj, I know, broke that on ESPN as well.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Do you guys?
I think it was a nice move.
I think Embiid's going to be on time management. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think Embiid's going to be on time management with the new head coach. Nick Nurse, you know what I'm saying? And now we got 4 centers. So just like you guys said, I see Paul Reed being a 4 and playing more minutes because of his hustle and his tenacity. So
right.
That's all I got. What about you, Fooch?
Well, the rumor that came out earlier that was coming out of Chicago again, and of course, I think these rumors were swirling last Thursday or Friday about Tobias Harris possibly going to the Bulls for Zach LaVine. I don't know if it's a package deal. Somebody from NBC Sports Chicago broke that earlier. And I don't know. What do you fellas think of that? I mean, I would take Zach LaVine in a heartbeat.
Listen, I would too, man. I mean, I might be going to the Shore this weekend, but I would gladly change my plans. And nothing against Tobias, because I think Tobias is like both equally overrated and equally underrated in this town. He's like one of the weirdest players ever. Because I think he's a lot better than people think he is. But regardless, I would gladly change my plans from going to the Shore to drive him to Chicago. So if they make that move, I volunteer to make that trip. Okay,
just putting it out while you're out there.
Would you guys stay on for a crumble cookie?
No, that's what I'm talking about though, Sean. I think Tobias is actually a nice player. The problem is that he makes way too much money, but that's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? And also Doc Rivers, if they do keep Tobias, I'm actually interested to see what Nick Nurse has planned with him. Maybe Nick Nurse has a vision, because you could do a hell of a lot worse than having a 4th guy that's Tobias Harris. I mean, Tobias Harris can do some things in this league. It's just you look at him, and Doc Rivers had him standing in the corner last year. I mean, You know,
True.
what do they say in what they say in Dirty Dancing? Nobody puts baby in the corner, right? Well, Tobias Harris was stuck in the damn corner. What the hell's he supposed to do? You know?
Well, Nick
Yeah.
Nurse, supposed to be a good disciplinarian, so maybe it's just
True.
change the culture in this locker room.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
gonna happen.
maybe that's what these guys need. It's shot in the arm because
I'm kicking the ass. You're right. Absolutely.
change the
But bring
mentality.
up the Scott Shelton. Like what
Yeah.
Scott Shelton saying, why did they bring back Montreal Harrell? I think
I think
a big
I
body.
think we're all
and
kind of wondering
toughness,
that.
You know, just like that guy to give that like a foul, a tough foul, something like that. But yeah,
Agreed,
it's
Mike.
very
I want Levine myself.
interesting to see they brought him back. So
All right. Hey, Scott. You know what? We could team up, bro. You pack his suitcases and I'll drive them. In fact, shoot, if the Cubs are playing out there, bro, take the ride, dude. We'll hit Wrigley out in that joint. All right, and
Go
yeah,
to Wrigleyville in the outfield.
yeah, exactly.
Forget
yeah.
how much their packages are, but pretty nice from that view. I mean, never mind. I ain't getting being at Wrigley.
Yeah, dude. I want to get. You know what's funny? I want to go to Wrigley again. I think I told you I got to
Wrigley's
go to Wrigley.
awesome.
Yeah, I got to go to Wrigley, but I didn't really get to go to Wrigley. I went, but it was the last day of a I went to Notre Dame, Washington in 09, right? And the very next day was the last game of the season for the Cubs. So even though we wound up, since we were so close, we wound up driving like the hour and 50 minutes the opposite way because we were going to drive all the way home, but we wound up driving to Chicago because we wanted to see Wrigley. So I technically saw Wrigley and saw like 6 innings of a game, but it was hard to have a great time because we had to drive all the way the hell home right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So I want to do Wrigley again, and I want to do I want to do like the experience. Like I want to do what do they have? Like the Cubbies bar restaurant out there or something like that.
Harry
Like
Carey's, the Colby Bear.
I need
they got all those.
Experience.
The bleachers.
You got a lot of good stuff, nostalgia, out there.
Matter of fact, the one bar called Bleachers says ditch work for the bleachers. Took a picture of it one time.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I was thinking of Wrigley last night because I was flipping channels and Ferris Bueller's Day Off was on again. So they have that great scene from Wrigley Field.
Like Laura was saying, any more word on Scherzer to the Phillies?
I haven't even heard that.
Never heard that in my.
Is that a rumor, Mike? I haven't.
Where's that from?
Mike says bucket list for me. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to go again. Now I've been to Fenway about 5 times, I want to say, and I really got to experience Fenway because we stayed overnight and stuff. So I got the full Fenway experience multiple times, and that was,
my wife was up there.
Yeah, so like for me, I mean, if I'm great in stadiums, I mean, I guess I guess part of it could be because I was able to have a really good time. I would go Fenway number 1, Wrigley number 2, but it's kind of unfair for me to totally judge because I didn't get the full Wrigley experience. I kind of need to get the whole experience to be able to compare the two. Yeah. But they're both great. It's like comparing like Jennifer Aniston. It's like Brad Pitt, right? With Brad Pitt had the 2 wives, right? He had Jennifer Aniston and he had Angelina Jolie. I mean, you're kind of going good with either one, aren't you? You know what I mean? It's kind of like Wrigley and Fenway, Let's see here. I got a comment here. Scott Shelton. Last question, fellas. Do you think Eagles will go with the 4 running backs, or will one of the guys be the odd man out? I think they do go for 4 running backs, right?
They should. Yeah, but there's been some rumors about Penny possibly getting cut.
Well, let's think
of also Trey Sermon.
Right.
Odd man out.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, right, they actually have 5 running backs. So I mean, right, because
Josh
they got
Joby. No, not Josh Joby.
No, you got
Kennedy.
Swift.
They got Kennedy Swift from last year. That's what I meant.
Look, you got Kennedy Brooks, Trey Sermon, Penny, Gainwell, Boston Scott, DeAndre Swift. 6 backs.
Okay, well, Kennedy Brooks might as well pack his bags, bro. I mean, unless he looks like
exactly.
unless he looks like Barry Sanders, he's either practice squad or he's trying to make another team.
Well, I heard after all the
they-
mini camps and OTAs, it was, I mean, the way they were looking at Swift, that they're going to get him more involved as him being the featured back, at least going into camp, from what I heard.
Well, I think the three of us said it. The thing with Sermon, he's that NFL back. He's 6 foot, 220. That's the kind of back you want. A big back.
Yeah,
He
but
has yet
they
to
never
prove
used
himself.
big backs. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's
like
why I was
like a
gonna get.
LeGarrette Blunt type,
Middleton.
like Leonard Weaver. Big backs
Exactly.
they just don't use. Why? I never understood
Penny-
why not.
Just like Mike said, Penny. Penny's a great back when healthy. When he's
Right.
not,
Exactly.
it's a shame. But all in all, at the end of the day, you're going behind the best damn O line. So they're either going to make it or break it next year. I don't think Sermon was hurt last year.
Mike
Sermon
says
is a
Sermon's.
beast.
I'll tell you though, the
Uh-huh.
one I do agree with Mike in one respect, because I was listening to, Fuge, you got me hooked on that 97.3 show, because they always do Eagles at like 4:00, and I want to say it was a couple months ago. I think John McMullen was on there, and he was talking. He was saying how much the Eagles that even though he didn't play last year, how much the Eagles really do like Sermon. They really do think highly of the kid. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but he hardly even played, and it was. I got Miles Sanders game well, and
I'm just glad
Boston
Miles
Scott.
Sanders was gone.
Oh,
I never cared for his running style.
Yeah, you know what though, he did have a good year last year, but if you remember though, the Super Bowl was a little rough for him. I mean, right off the bat.
If you go back to
As soon as he hurt
COVID
his
year,
knee, he was a non-factor.
if you go back to 2020, I mean, when Doug was coaching, Sanders was averaging 5 point yards a carry, and they just never ran him. Why not? Maybe he was just in the doghouse, or just for whatever reason, the Eagles just never. I don't think they ever used Miles.
Yeah,
I mean,
they never utilized
he got dinged up, but they never utilized him. For what reason? I don't know. Still to this day, it makes you wonder.
So, all right. So what do we name? So we name the backs. Gainwell's a definite. I think they really do like Gainwell's a definite.
Gainwell came on in the playoffs down the stretch.
Right. So Gainwell's a definite. Swift is a definite, because they traded a nice pick for Swift. So those two guys are
two picks for Swift.
Exactly. One of them was a fourth rounder. So
yeah,
4th and 7th, I think.
Yeah, those two guys are definites. Then you got a battle between Penny and Sermon, right? And then you got Boston Scott.
Oh,
now,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So if Penny's healthy and Sermon is a beast, right? So say we're in the preseason training camp. Sermon's healthy and looks like a beast. Penny looks like a beast. As much as we love Boston Scott actually could be the odd man out.
He's the odd man out. You got a 3-headed monster. You're right.
Yeah,
Let me throw this, not to interrupt you guys.
It's okay.
Just say Penny gets caught. Let's say I doubt it'll happen. I'm just pulling this out of the air. Let's just say they don't. I don't know if they would, but price tag wise, who's to say they wouldn't take a shot at Dalvin Cook? I mean, Howie wanted him in 17 in Minnesota, snatched him right front in that whatever round he was drafted. I doubt it, but who the hell knows?
But can you see a backfield Cook and Swift though? Realistically, I know it's
why not. You could put Swift in the slot, mix it up. I doubt it, but it's just you never know. Who's to say?
They say
Cook
it sounds
doesn't get picked
sexy,
up.
but I don't. I would love to have it happen, but I don't see it happening.
Just a thought.
No,
I doubt it too, but
Yeah, well, now it's funny now that we're on the Eagles. Take the running back out of it, though. I mean, Howie's only always known to make moves like late team building moves in
Yes.
training camp, like he did with C.J. Gardner Johnson last year, like he did with
Right.
Steven Nelson a couple years ago. Could you see maybe like an Isaiah Simmons coming here at linebacker,
Yes.
or possibly like I'll tell you, a name I think you could.
Patrick Queen.
Yeah, him possibly. Now at the safety position, I could see the kid. What's his name? Jeremy Chin, the safety from Carolina. I could
Yeah.
see a move like that late in camp.
I like that. I thought about the Patrick Queen, but he's playing the same spot as N'Kobe Dean. And that would kind of be like a slap in the face to the young kid. If anything, switch it up. How about Miles Jack or Isaiah Simmons
Okay,
in that
well,
linebacker?
Miles Jackson,
Yeah.
free agent.
Yeah, he still is. He's still out there too.
well,
But yeah,
don't you think a lot of that would be like late in camp, they're probably going to let training camp play out, and you're going to see how Amaro looks, and you're going to see the kid you really like, Sean, the Christian Ellis guy that you seem to, that's another guy I heard. Yeah, that's another guy I heard the Eagles guys talking up. They said that they really like that kid too.
Well, to keep on real quick on him, the Super Bowl, he had a hell of a lot of special teams tackles, and I believe the first playoff game, some pretty key tackles. But the kid all in all, comes from family pedigree. Luther Ellis was his dad, defensive tackle from the
Defensive
Lions.
end, wasn't he? Yeah.
Defensive end, tackle. He played both ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he has the blood in his family, and the kid's special. But that's all I
don't want to. I don't want to get too in depth with the whole Eagles thing, but I still all right. DeAndre Hopkins, it's just too many balls to go around. Would be a great pickup, but I still think they need a third veteran receiver like Jarvis Landry, because God forbid, and I don't even want to say this, but after Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, really, what do you have? What do you really have after these two guys? And God forbid one of them goes down.
A few more minutes.
Okay. There's this kid for the supplemental draft. I think I either told you or Fuji.
You told me something about
Jackson State wide receiver, Maleki Weidman. 6'5", 200 pounds, caught 34 passes, 540 yards, 12 TDs. Tied for the SWAC league in 2021. 21, played at Tennessee before transferring to Jackson State. That would be a perfect player, because what do you give up in a supplemental draft to get another big body? Maybe as a replacement for Quez or who knows who. Would you guys be willing to?
Sure. I just don't think there's enough depth. I just don't think there's enough depth on this receiving core.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a little bit of a concern. I mean, God forbid, if A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith have to miss a little bit of time, then all of a sudden, although what's funny though, I actually think Quez I think is more of an outside receiver than he is a slot receiver. So if you had to go a game or two with Quez on the outside, I think he actually could give you a speed threat deep. You know what I mean?
I just think adding a veteran receiver, waiver. Well,
who would look nice on this team since we're talking real quick?
Who?
How about your thoughts on Hunter Renfrow? Because they drafted a wide receiver and they signed Jacoby Myers from the Patriots.
Yeah, but I thought Renfrow was still under
contract
with the Raiders. Oh, he'd be a hell of a pickup to put in the slot.
I can't see the Raiders. I can't see the Raiders getting rid of him though. At least not yet. I mean, because
I found
I
an
mean,
article that said they kind of would, but you're right. I don't see it either.
That was like a
Just
month or
was-
two ago. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I mean, is it one of those situations where, I mean, Jimmy G is still kind of banged up. I mean, if maybe they could be talked
Yeah.
into it because, if you're sitting out there in Vegas, I mean, are you going to try to win like 5 or 6 measly games, or if Jimmy G is kind of banged up, do you just pull out the Sherman tank and try to tank for Caleb Williams? Don't let's not kid ourselves this year. By the way, I know we always and obviously it's hard for NFL teams to tank, right? Because you're trying to you got
Yeah.
45 you got what 53 grown men out there fighting for their with a lot of non-guaranteed contracts, fighting for their lives, and plus it's a physical sport, so you can't step on that field half-assed or you're going to get really seriously hurt. But let's be honest though, you're going to see a lot of these teams like general managers trying, if they're not going to go for, they're going to try to put their teams in positions to quote unquote kind of barely lose some of those close games because, Caleb, did you guys see the report on Caleb Williams? I mean, they're saying he's got a lot of the same skill set as Pat Mahomes. And let's not kid ourselves. If it's December and you got a couple starters that might, that maybe are a little bit dinged up, you're going to, that maybe do have a little bit of a guaranteed type money, you're going to kind of want to sit them because losing's going to be better for you. You know what I mean?
Full of scam, Hanky.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, but again, it's, but let's, like I said, it's really hard in the NFL because, you got guys fighting for their lives out there. I mean, if I'm a young second or third year guy and I'm fighting for a contract, what do I give a shit if you get Caleb Williams? I mean, you might cut me anyway. So I got to go out there and play, you know what I mean? But ownership and general managers, I think, would try to set that up. Here's Ken Fry's a Raiders fan. He said they better pay Jacobs and make Devontae happy. Yeah. I hear you, Ken, but again, I mean, if you don't have a quarterback, you know what I mean? Like, I guess we'll see if the Raiders are such a weird team because if you could get a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo, they do have some weapons on that team, and they did draft some defense where maybe they could be competitive. But if he's not right and the quarterback's not right, they could be atrocious too. So it's really hard to say.
Well, don't forget they traded who's a tight end?
Darren Waller.
Yeah, they traded him to the Giants. Oh, speaking of the Giants, I mean, Saquon Barkley's in the same boat with Josh Jacobs right now.
Yeah,
So I think I heard last night they got till the 17th. I guess till next Monday to as far as
yes,
a long-term contract.
No, you know what's amazing?
yes.
Think about how messed up it is in sports, right? Like look at a guy like B-Ball Paul, who's like a backup center, plays like 10, 11 minutes a game, gets like what, $8 million a year, $9 million a year. And then you look at like the best running backs in football, get like a little bit more than that, or 1 year, like 10 million. And meanwhile, like Saquon Barkley's like a freaking beast. You know what I mean? Josh Jacobs is a beast. Like it just goes to show you.
Yeah, but the whole thing of it is, I mean, let's just face it, the running back position's not what it was at one time.
No.
They're not going to, you're not going to get paid like a receiver, D-back, or offensive guard, tackle, whatever.
True.
I mean, it's just.
And just like, I see them tanking in that case. You know what I mean? Shit in the bed.
Yeah. Well, so all right. So yeah, I have a question for Ken Fry. So Ken Fry says, if Brian Hoyer is our starter in October, we are tanking. So Ken, as a Raiders fan, I'll give you a choice right now. Now, do you want to see Garoppolo play and see if you can? I mean, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, let's be real, right? Look at the AFC. The AFC, you got what? Mahomes, Josh Allen, you got Trevor Lawrence,
Joe Burrows.
Joe Burrow. I mean, you got like what? At least 8 of all the top quarterbacks in the AFC. You're not winning
Justin
Dick
Herbert.
Cheese.
Lamar,
Yeah, you're not winning Dick Cheese with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So, like, as a Raiders fan, would you rather maybe by some miracle, if everything works well, maybe you get like the last wild card and you have a first round exit, or would you rather just say, you know what, I'm going to punt on this year. Yo, give me Caleb Williams and let's develop that kid. And in like 2 years' time, we got one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. You know, what would you rather do? To me,
Yeah,
I would.
true.
To me, I would rather suck for a year myself. That's just me. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for people like ourselves that have season tickets, I mean, if the Eagles did that to us season ticket holders, I mean, there'd be, we'd probably be storming the NovaCare.
No, and listen, Mike, I understand.
No, I know.
I understand. I understand
Right.
what you're saying, but okay. Say you had to go. Say you could have the next 10 years of between 5 wins and like 9 wins, right? Or you could be absolutely fucking atrocious and win like 2 games, right? For 1 year.
Yeah.
But after that, you are literally always having a legit chance. Like for instance, like when we got McNabb, like 98, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like 98, they were 3-13. They get McNabb, they get Andy Reid in here. They're in the running every single year, you know?
10-6 the year after. No. 5-11 and 10-6.
Ken Fry says prospects aren't guarantees. Raiders would fumble the pick and take special teams wide receiver. If they can win, okay, that's a fair answer. If they can win with Jimmy, then win, even if it's a first round exit. Okay, you know what? Hey, I respect that. I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. Ken Fry said we've been 2 wins a year since 2003 and got us nothing. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, Jamarcus Russell was drinking that lean, right?
Killed them, man.
Yeah,
biggest boss.
And they take Sebastian Janikowski in the second round. Not to bring up old wounds, but
dude, I think they actually took him in the first round.
Janikowski panned out to be a hell of a kicker. But
had a hell of a leg.
Yeah, he did. He did. But all
right, that's like drafting a kicker in the first round in fantasy football.
I know. You know what's funny though? I mean, we always laugh at that, but let's be honest. One of the main reasons the Eagles lost that Super Bowl was the punting game. I mean, not that you take a punter early, but that shanked punt and that big punt return was one of the main reasons we lost the Super Bowl.
Well,
I want that kid Areza. He's out there. Say, see you later, Supposis.
Well,
Sipis or whatever. Get Areza.
Yeah, but the thing of this with this Eagles team, that's the special teams really was the Achilles heel, which basically, got swept under the rug.
Yeah, here's Rob Hefner. He does on Saturday nights. Those guys do a great show from Vegas. That's the Vegas sports scene. So he says the Raiders would totally F it up. They're not good with top draft picks. No, hey, listen, I agree. There's no guarantees in life. That's for sure, except for death and taxes. That's the only 2 guarantees you got. That and those 2 were guarantees. And if there's a third guarantee. If Al Davis was still alive, the third guarantee would be he would take the fastest receiver with no hands. That would be the third guarantee. Right? So he would. Remember who was that? Ken and Rob probably remember. Who the hell was that receiver they took back in like 2008 or something like that? That like he was supposed to be like a second or third round pick. He picked him in the first round. You remember?
Did he play for Pittsburgh?
I don't remember. He just was. He's
not Jacoby Jones.
No, he sucked, and like he was supposed to be. Oh, here we go. Ken Fry's got it. Darius Hayward Bay. There we go.
He played for Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, I think he was playing in the XFL.
Yeah, Daniel and Wheel says runs a 4.2. Yeah, that's true. Old man Davis would do that. Old man Davis at the end, that's what he
Well,
would do.
they had. Here's the thing: they had Justin Vargas, Ronald Curry, Zach Miller, Jerry Porter, Chas Schilling, Chris Johnson. That's it. That's all I can
Say
say.
Chad Johnson or Chris Johnson.
Chad Johnson.
They had a guy James Jett back in the day that was like really fast. I think he ran like a 4.2, 4.3, something like that. He was a fast receiver. And they had a guy. I think they had a guy. Yeah, I think they had a guy, Anthony Wright. I think back in the '90s, where he was another guy that was like no hands. I mean, he would be the sure. What was that movie with the guy with no hands? What was it? The Replacements? Remember the guy that was so fast but he couldn't catch the damn ball?
Yeah,
that's what those dudes were like.
Keanu Reeves.
Wait, what's that?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. He'd have to catch that joint in his face mask. You know what I mean? Just to catch it. But all right. Well, I guess let's get ready to wrap up here. I wanted to do one more Sixers thing before we go. Did any of you guys? They still could use a free agent wing. Any names out there? Sean, you had one in particular.
Oubre. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to see him. Really, I think that would kind of solve our problem, so to speak, like we said with the wing. But it remains.
Who else is really out there though at this point?
A lot of trash, man. I mean,
it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Maybe if they actually, I mean, it looks like they're begging Harden to come back. I mean, Pat Beverly was sitting there like, "Oh, please, James, please stay," and
Embiid was interviewed last night.
And
he said that he wanted Harden. Hopes he stays.
Yeah, well, hey, let's
and bullshit walks.
Let's keep it real though. I mean, Embiid did win the MVP with Harden last year. So if you're I can understand why Embiid wants Harden back. I mean, playing with Harden, he's going to average like 31 again.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but all right. Well, we'll get into more Sixers in the coming weeks. I mean, maybe Daryl Morey will do something. Maybe they'll make a trade or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get ready. Yeah, we're going to get ready to get out of here. This week, this week's probably one of the most dead weeks in the whole year for sports. I mean, there's no sports at all on Wednesday, so I guess we'll have Phillies Padres to talk about next Monday, and maybe some Sixers news. So we'll check. Man. We'll see you all next week.
Take it easy.
All right, make sure you check.